on, go. All right, let's try it again with a little bit less wrong warping and only the right wrong warping, and we'll be good. As I was trying to say though, this category is done on the 1.0 version of the original Link's Awakening game. The Game Boy Color remake, Link's Awakening DX, has its own leaderboards, its own categories. They are completely separate runs. The reason why I run on this particular version is mainly to take advantage of the screen warping trick I'm doing right now. It's a very easy trick to pull off. It's not frame perfect. It's not anywhere close to frame perfect. All you do is when you're moving from one screen to the next is you hit the select button to pull up the world map. And if you do it correctly with the proper time, you'll see Link will stay still, but the room that you're in will change. Depending on how well you time it, Link might move a little bit. The sprites might move with the screen as well. But screen warping in that instance let me loop off of the bottom of the map. You can see on the top left corner I've got that one map tile unlocked. That room, if you will, that screen has the warp zone by Dungeon 8 on it, and screen warping myself south of the beach and looping back to the top of the world map unlock the warp zone by Dungeon 8. So in a couple of minutes, when I actually start going into dungeons from the reverse boss order part of the run, I'll be able to go right to Dungeon 8 very, very quickly. All right, now though, I'm going to make my first trip into the Kennel World. I've actually cut out a couple of trips into the Kennel World, so when we go into Dungeon 4, I'll try and talk about it a little bit more then. But I killed 3 enemies before I went into the Kennel World this time. That's going to let me use this staircase. The Kennel World is a major glitch, as you can see, and it works a little bit differently depending on how many enemies you defeat before you pull the trick off. In order to use that downward facing staircase, I need to kill 3 enemies. That's going to give me access to the back half of Dungeon 1 for Rock's Feather, and it's going to let me sneak over to the room with the power bracelet in it in Dungeon 2. Pick up the shovel. There we go. That's how you steal the shovel. I should have left my PB time on the last split. I shouldn't have cleared all the times out. Oh well, we'll look at it after the run. We're actually gonna buy the bombs, but then we're gonna steal the bow. That's just way too many rupees to get quickly in any sort of speedy fashion. And we're gonna get to about 350 rupees, give or take. That's not start. We're going to see a lot of super jumping during the run as well. Super jumping is also used in an inbounds Link's Awakening speedrun as well. That lets you jump as if you're on top of a cliff while you're standing at the bottom of it. It gives you more altitude on your jump is maybe the best way to explain that. That's not really why you do it sometimes. The altitude is nice. Sometimes you just want to be able to get that higher jump from a different XY coordinate than you can usually get it, if that makes any sense. It's a little bit hard to explain. There will be a room later on that'll be better for showing off the trick and explaining what situations you might want to use it in. Gotta do a little bit of fishing. Come on. This is the first fishing minigame in the Legend of Zelda series, and it's very simple. Mostly just a lot of button mashing. The only thing I need to catch, get over here, is that big fat fish who has a piece of heart, or you are rewarded with a piece of heart for catching it. If you open the save and quit, box to get out of that cutscene. You take that little bitty shortcut over to your next seashell. Now I'm gonna do the Kenner Roll trick again. I mean, you can see it took me somewhere, you know, normal, where you don't normally have, you can't normally warp to that spot, but we're inbound on a normal looking world map. I'm right outside of Dungeon 2. Let's see if I can get a screen warp here. There we go. And that's what happens when you do the doghouse glitch when you haven't killed any enemies, is it takes you right outside of Dungeon 2. Screen warp down a few rooms to get Pegasus boots. And then I'm gonna screen warp down, I think it's 10 more rooms from here. And I've got to hit them all in a row after this first one, so let me focus on that. But you'll see as we go through. See, you might have seen Link moved a little bit there. I'm not close enough to the bottom of the screen. I might be able to, recover it here using a super jump. Hold up. Oh yeah, let's go. But you can see, other than that one room, I'm glad I noticed that when I did. You cannot recover in a way that makes it easy for you to screen warp vertically there. This puts us in Dungeon 4. I'm going to screen warp one more time, and now we're into Flipper's room. And we just got a lot of we just unlocked a huge part of the world map right there. We have a lot of options open to us now. Next I have to go to the start of Dungeon 3. I mean, even though I was just in Dungeon 3, that doesn't... the way I got there doesn't count. As soon as I go in the staircase, I can save and quit to the start. And now we're gonna head to Dungeon 8. Oh, you punk. I just didn't want to menu over to the feather. You know? Just didn't want to bother with the menu. You know I'm trying to screen warp from there. Punk. You've got to be careful in that room. If you die and grab the piece of heart at the same time, you might duplicate it by accident. And if you do, you just have to make sure you don't grab the duplicated item. Item duplication is not allowed in 100%. What am I doing? You have to grab 100% of the items, not one item 100% of the time. I guess would be a good way to think about that. It's just not in the spirit of 100%, but pretty much every other trick and glitch in the game is available. Sorry, we're gonna take a long way. There we go. See, the thing there was I didn't need to... It's not like I couldn't jump from the top of that wall easily. Clearly I could have just gone around if I wanted to jump off the top of the wall. What I needed to do was jump off the top of the wall a couple of more pixels to the left so I could get to the screen transition and get into the boss room. And that's why I wanted to super jump there. It's not that I needed a higher jump or I needed to jump somewhere I usually can't. So much, well, I guess that was really what it was. There wasn't so much the altitude as much as it needed to be left a little bit more than where I can jump there normally. I missed that split. If that hallway was a little bit narrower, I would not need to super jump. I could have just jumped from where the game allows me to jump from. A lot more super jumping here. Super jump, regular, super jump. That weird little pattern lets me get up on top. Now I'm over somewhere in Dungeon 1. But obviously not really Dungeon 1. We didn't get here in bounds. But if I were to go to Dungeon 1 and check this room, the wall would already be broken and the chest would be empty. And mainly I bring it up because, again, you're not allowed to duplicate items in 100%. So even though I don't get there in bounds, those chests are gone in bounds. If that makes sense. Super jump. Super jump. Super jump. Man. I love me a GameCube D-pad. I usually play on a Game Boy Advance, but I cannot locate my link cable. My working link cable, unfortunately. So this is the Mad Batter. I woke him up by sprinkling some magic powder down the well, and then he got mad at me and he's cursed me. With the ability to carry twice as much ammo as before. Oh, what a terrible burden to bear. But this is actually also part of 100%. His rooms are scattered very far around the world map, but in game data they're actually right next to each other. So if you can go out of bounds, you can just hop, 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 1, 2, 3, grab them all very quickly in a row here. That's enough of that. Oops. No. My boots. Thank you. Pretty much anytime we enter a cave, we're immediately going to go out of bounds in this run. Come on. For this particular trip, I'm going to be hopping around quite a bit. I'm not really wasting movement. I'm trying to prevent myself from falling through these cracked tiles. Screen warping does not reset the timer for when those tiles break, so you've got to be very careful on that particular trip out of bounds. Oh, come on. Oh. Learn to jump, please. Secret seashell. Put my boots back on, because this save and quit's gonna reset my menu. And that's why I dipped in the cave early. I want to be able to save and quit back to the doorway. Up, right, and we just went from the very northern part of the map to the very southeastern corner of the map. Now this is a piece of heart that's over by Animal Village, if you're familiar with the game. We'll go up and right, and now we're in the mysterious woods in the far western part of the map. Showing off the fact that the game stores its map in a very, very fractured way. If you're able to go out of bounds and scroll the screen in unintended ways, there are lots of neat little shortcuts you can find doing that. There's also a lot to explore in the Kennel Worlds, which is why I'm a little sad some of that's been cut out of the route these days, but It's an easy trick to pull off with, there are a lot of easy glitches to pull off in the original Game Boy version of the game. Just lots of exploring and goofing around you can do to have fun outside of just playing the game vanilla. So you don't need to grab the Dungeon 1 key there in such a normal way, but saving Terran is going to allow me to go learn Marin's song now. And if I don't go get it now, I can't learn it until I finish Dungeon 1, and then I have to take the long roundabout side quest to do so. So I'm gonna go grab this now and save about 3 minutes, I think it is, when I timed it out. It's a long time. Whatever the time was, it was a lot. What's the time I need for GDQ? As fast as I can go. There's not really like a qualifying time like that. And I've changed the route, so I cleared all my splits out, and I wish I didn't because I accidentally cleared out my PB time. But it's like 53 minutes and change is my best time through this route. Or through this category, I should say. Alright, we're done here. Those are not, that's not Rock's Feather. Hey, thanks, Sortusa. Ooh. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite Zelda game. Without question. There's just so much to do in such a tiny little game. Whoops, tiny little Game Boy game. I need to play through it normally at some point. I haven't played through this game vanilla in so long. I honestly couldn't. I have no idea how to clear Dungeon 7 without glitches and speed tricks anymore. I'd have to muddle my way through it all over again. I'm gonna get the one screen warp here because otherwise you might get stuck in the chest, and that's no fun. We're actually going to take a different route through Dungeon 7 than I've taken my PB. And we can save quite a bit of time here if RNG is on my side. Here we go. There's the mirror shield that we're not actually going to use in the run. Oh no! Okay. Almost got squashed. And I missed the screen warp. Let's reset the screen here. So we're gonna screen warp left until we're in the boss room. The RNG's with that room right there with the tiles on the ground. There are flying tiles in that room. And thankfully they didn't screen warp with me into the boss room. That would be ultra surprise. You'll fall through one of the open tiles and the game will immediately freeze. That's great. We did not get the good Natara skip here. The best Natara skip you can get is where you skip the dialogue and all the wow, dude. You skip the opening text box and you skip watching the boss fly around the screen. You can get a half Natara skip where you skip the text but not the animation. We had absolutely none of it. I had to read the text and watch the cutscene. But it's still a faster movement route through to the boss fight than what I was taking. So even that way, it's a time save over what I used to do, which was instead of going left there, I used to go right 4 screens and then walk up the steps to the boss room. Is there a no thief link category? I think thievery is part of all of the speedruns just because it's such a big time save over getting all of those rupees. Well, let me rephrase that. Thievery is a part of all of the full game runs. There are any percent categories where you basically go right to the final boss. You grab your sword, you grab the ocarina, and then you go beat the game. And you wouldn't steal for those. But that's like I think it's like a 5-minute category. If that, it's a very short category. Uh-oh. Okay, phew. I thought I went one screen too far. And I gotta get one more screen warp in the water here. On paper, it's the same thing as screen warping on land. In practice, just having the different movement physics in the water makes that not more difficult, it's just different timing. Oh nice, I got one. Let's see if I get this one. Didn't get that one. Those Paragoombas are the worst, by the way. Especially if you're swimming and you get hit by a bomb, it's gonna send you basically an entire screen length, usually in the completely wrong direction. Let's go up north one screen. Does that room look familiar? Yeah, we were just there. It's the Mad Batter room. Go up one screen from there. Now we're at the back exit, I guess if you will, of Dungeon 6. It really just leads out to this one chest. But now I can save and quit, and we're at the front door for Dungeon 6 because we don't have the key for Dungeon 6 yet. We're gonna have to get it later for 100%, but we don't have it right now. The ocarina is the worst thing to have in the menu when once you have a song for it. It's as bad as the bottles in A Link to the Past as far as menuing in a speedrun goes. There is a Discord. I don't have the link handy though. Wait, what am I doing? I got the screen warp. Hang on a second. I think the best way to get the link to the Discord for Link's Awakening speedruns would be to go to speedrun.com and look the game up there. I'm pretty sure there's a link to the Discord there. Ow. Otherwise, after the run, I'll poke around and look for it for you. The hitbox on Face Dude, whatever his name is, Creepy Face, his hitbox is active as soon as you enter the room. So if you can get in position and drop a bomb right away, you can get 3 hits on the boss before the fight even starts, and he only has 5 hit points. So it's a nice head start on the fight. It's very easy to do when you come in through the front door. If you come in from the side like you do in this category, it's definitely not hard, but it's just a little bit harder. You have a little bit less time to work with because there's a jar in the way. I need Fire Rod. Link. Oh my god. You only really need to use boots for a 3 tile gap. I just missed that jump twice. Just not gonna talk about that. Get up there. So one thing about the Fire Rod is you'll notice that enemy respawned because I didn't let it finish despawning after I lit it on fire, so the kill didn't count. And that's important for the Kennel World as well. It won't count for a trip into the Kennel World as a kill unless you let the sprite finish despawning. This is the one bomb trick we're going to do in this category. This bomb trick is used a lot more in inbounds categories. It's called the bomb trigger glitch. It's kind of a boring name if you ask me, but if you drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window, it has a lot of interesting effects depending on which room you're in at the time. In this room, it makes a cutscene play. The cutscene being I trade away my fishing hook and I get the mermaid's necklace in return. I don't have the fishing hook, but the bomb trigger glitch don't care. It's just gonna make the cutscene play and let me skip a huge chunk of the trading sequence. And the trading sequence itself is not part of 100%. Only the end item, which is the boomerang, is technically part of 100%, but I do need to get the lens of truth to get the boomerang. So we've got to do a little bit of the trading sequence. We only use it once in this category, but in a more inbounds category. The bomb trigger glitch completely replaces the ocarina. So unless you're doing a 100% run, you don't pick up the ocarina. I can use it to unlock dungeon 8 without the ocarina, or even without the song. You can just unlock dungeon 8. You can use it to open the windfish egg, but you do need to have all 8 instruments for it to work. You can use it to wake up the fat walrus. It's used for something else pretty big in the inbound speed, and I can't think of off the top of my head right now. Oh, it's used in dungeon 7 too, quite a bit to break up the pillars. So that's a sneaky way to get the hook shot without doing all 4 mini boss fights. That's because the game is programmed kind of simplistically. When I solved the puzzle in this room, the game isn't programmed to drop a small key. It's programmed to drop a hidden item. The hidden item in this room happens to be the small key. So if I screen warp away from that room, the item on screen moves with me. But the hidden item in the room on the left is the hook shot. And as far as the game knows, all it needs to do is put the hidden item on the screen. So that's how you turn a small key into a hook shot. That lets me skip four entire mini boss fights, one of which I'm going to be skipping again here because the mini boss is still there waiting to fight me. You know what, dude? Get out of here. I'm gonna use the fire rod glitch this time to skip it. There we go. You see how the game got a little bit laggy there in the menu? If you pause the game, it might be frame perfect. But if you pause the game on the frame the game is trying to draw a fireball on the screen, missed the screen warp, the game will get stuck on the command to draw the fireball on the screen, and it will just draw so many fireballs that there's no more room for any other sprites. So if you do that on a screen transition, none of the sprites on the next screen can load, including any enemy sprites. So for rooms where you can't continue until all the enemies are dead, you can use the fire rod trick instead because there's no enemies on the screen, so all the enemies are dead. You can just pass right on through. And this is the most RNG heavy boss in the run. 1, 2. Oh no! Oh, what happened? Oh, I was just about to say, it's really important to get 4 hits in when you grab the boss. Oh man, I don't know how I ended up getting in its mouth. The boss only has 8 hit points, so which is why it's important you get all 4 hits in when you get a grab. Look at this. You can at best cover half of the room. That was a lot of time. I'm mad about that. It's alright, nothing I can do about it now. Man. I don't know if I got my A and B buttons backward in my head, but you want to nudge a little bit closer with each slash, and I got too close to the boss, I guess. Boss can also be mean and just ignore the fact that you've hit him with the hook shot. I'm sure somebody can explain the rhyme or reason behind getting a good hit versus not, but it's just frustrating. I don't really care about it more than the fact that it's very frustrating when it looks like I get a square hit and it doesn't count. Oh, that's definitely the most RNG you'll see in the game, in the speedrun. Now you screw up over here, but make sure you're on the second column before you come down. Otherwise, you see that cracked tile in the corner? You'll be stuck there, and you can't leave because it's not an area you can jump down from. Then you have to actually turn in the mermaid scale in order to get the lens of truth. If you pick up the duplicated mermaid scale, you've soft locked the trading sequence and you won't be able to. You'll be stuck with a 99% run. You won't be able to fix it. Not on the edge. Yeah, we're gonna have to get one in the water here. There we go. Good. And all that screen warping lets me skip that dude, the big fat walrus. You can't screen warp in an inbounds run. It's considered wrong warping. But you would wake up the fat walrus using the bomb trigger glitch in an inbounds run to get by him and skip the long side quest to wake him up otherwise. Alright, 4 pieces of heart left. Let me think. There's the one in the well. There's the one by dungeon 3. There's the one underneath. Yeah, okay, good. Didn't miss any of those. And then after, I guess right before dungeon 3, I usually do a seashell count there. There are 26 seashells in the game, and even though this is a 100% run, we're only going to be grabbing 20 of them. And once you grab 20 and turn them in for the level 2 sword, the other 6 seashells disappear, so there's no more shells to grab. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what the community has decided is qualifies for 100%. That does mean there are extra, or I guess backup seashells, if you will, if we miss one. If you only miss one, it's not a big time loss. If you miss more than one, the other seashells are kind of a pretty long walk at that point. That was one enemy. We're gonna head back to the kennel world here in a second. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll leave this guy alone. No, no, no. I thought I got, well, I have to get the 6 kills again. Doggone it. That was unfortunate. I gotta be careful here. If I knock him into the pit, it does not count. There we go. That was an unfortunate time loss. Right, we're headed to dungeon 4. That's to the east. And you can screen warp in the kennel world. You've got to be careful. The game's already running kind of weird in the kennel world. Screen warping in the kennel world sometimes makes the game a hard lock. So I don't usually go for it. Unless I'm feeling... I'm really, like, I'm on a extremely blistering pace. And I'm really shooting for a PB. Because that's a really sad way to lose multiple minutes of time. I think I missed the split. There we go. Good. Alright, so since I have my sword out, starting this cutscene, it lets me wiggle Link around a little bit. I get to save an entire quarter screen of movement this way. So there's song 2, which we're going to use right away. Get out of this water. Usually I don't have a problem buying my potion here, but if for some reason it costs too many rupees, I'm gonna have to wait because I need 300 rupees for the next section of the game. But no, we're good. I think I've had that happen to me once. Then I had to go scrounge around for like 2 or 3 extra rupees, which of course did not want to drop since I was on the clock and I don't usually need them. Man, the ocarina is so bad to have in the inventory. You move, Link. Come on. If I screw up south here, it's gonna put me in the solid wall. When I move down a little bit, it'll let me drop down right by the cave with another piece of heart. I missed it somehow. And the last one is the one that's at the bottom of the well. That is not really all that well hidden. You're meant to get that one first, but we get it last in the speedrun. Or at least in this category, we get it last. You get down here. I'm gonna screen warp right here so I can dig up the dungeon 3 key. But I'm gonna reset the room. When you screen warp into a room, everything that's buried kind of slides around underneath the screen. It's hard to know where exactly the item you're looking for actually is. That was the true final boss of the run. That 2-tile gap, for whatever reason, just murders me. Usually I'm there for a couple of tries. It's not a difficult jump, just for whatever reason that one specific jump gives me fits some days. And then I save and quit as soon as I entered the cave. There are lots of ways to freeze the game in this cave. I did the fire rod glitch by accident. Whoops. I'm at 16, good. 16's the magic number. I've got all the seashells I need. I don't need the extra one. So we're gonna head right over to Sea Wart. Gito, Gito. You'll notice I made sure I'm talking over the best song. I apologize. Hold on. So 2 things. When you walk through the room into the room and you don't take the staircase, obviously the correct tiles do not load in. Secondly, see that tile in the top left corner, the cracked tile? If you enter that room from the top on that column, that cracked tile will kill you. You'll lose your 300 rupees. You'll watch the entire cutscene as you slowly fall to your death over and over again. And after the cutscene, if you're out of health, you'll game over. And you won't get the song, you'll lose your rupees, and that's pretty much the end of your run. Or you're just taking a 99% run at that point. I'm pretty sure it's 1, 2, 3 boss room. Let's see. Uh-oh. And that's why I say screen warping's not a frame perfect trick, but when you're doing certain things like screen warping through a solid wall, your window for success is much smaller. Yeah, I know. You're definitely not meant to have the magic rod here. You still have to use the sword to split up the eyes, but they're not, they ain't ready for that. Is that a 50-second dungeon 3? Oh man, get out of here, dungeon 3. Now it's with a missed screen warp. Go away. Woo. Hold on. I need to do fire rod glitch here, because the owl's out here waiting to talk to me and tell me a whole bunch of stuff I either already know or just don't care about. 17, 18 on the tree. I know where the last two are. Good. Good. That was way early. I thought I had my dash. That's 20. It is 20, right? Yes. Ow. Another reason why we're not required to get all 26 and 20 is okay is because let me get the sentence out of my mouth correctly. In order to get all 26 seashells, you have to get 5 and then come here to watch this cutscene where you turn in 5 and that gives you a bonus seashell. Then when you have 10, you come back, you get a second bonus seashell. And it's just a lot of neat backtracking for 6 seashells that don't really matter in the end towards 100%. You don't need them to finish the quest. Come on. There we go. If you do this category correctly, you never see the owl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let the sprites disappear. And one last trip into the counter world for us. How did I clip? How? Okay. Sure. Whatever, game. I clipped into the store somehow. Okay. So if you're familiar with the game, you know we're headed to Dungeon 2 next, and we're there. It's very glitchy, but this is in fact Dungeon 2. You are correct. But I want to get through Dungeon 2 kind of a special way here. And I need Rock's Feather to do that. That'd be nice. This is the most, yeah, that's there's more pressure on that screen warp than on any other screen warp because you get one try at it. If you miss it and you save and quit out, you go all the way back to Mabe Village. But screen warping and leaving the side scrolling area like that enables this weird like super swimming bug. It also glitches out this room big time. I think the game is drawing Dungeon 2, but the tiles that it's putting into play are from some side scrolling room. Because it's just, the game's just acting very weird right now. But since pretty much everything counts as out of bounds here, what am I doing? I'm doing phase 3 first. If I throw the bottle out of bounds, it breaks immediately. Usually you have to throw it 3 times. I'm gonna drop a bomb. If I time this magic rod correctly, boss dies instantly. Feels good. Feels so good to hit that. You don't need the magic rod to do that. You can do that with bombs and a bomb arrow. Will have the same effect. I don't want to get excited yet. I don't want to get too excited yet. Gotta get the dungeon one. Dungeon one. Just focus. For Dungeon 1, the game really does not like you. For whatever reason, screen warping into the boss fight in Dungeon 1, has a high chance of crashing the game. And I can reduce that chance drastically just by grabbing the boss key. What is it? The nightmare key? Whatever the name of the key is, I'm gonna go grab that before I make my way over to the boss fight here. Technically speaking, if you feel like risking it, you don't need it, but it likes to crash quite a bit. What are you doing? Yeah, the nightmare key. You'll fight one of the 8 nightmares. You can also grab the small key there for this screen warp, but usually you don't need it. No, Ocarina. First try. Heck yeah. I did not, well, the game didn't crash, so that's good. Actually, the game didn't do anything funny. I was actually quicker than what I usually get. Usually when I screen warp into the boss room, the game tries to crash. It's really weird what happens sometimes. I'm glad I'm not showing it off. But if you get the crash, when you screen warp into the boss room, the screen will fade away like you Ocarina warped and then crash. If it doesn't quite crash, sometimes it'll play the animation, not crash. And then you fight the boss, but the room is like half a screen off center. It's really weird, but you can play through it. That time I got none of the bad stuff, only the good stuff. That was good. That was a good Dungeon 1. Usually I lose more time to a glitch there than that. A non-helpful glitch, I should say. A non-intended, not speedrun friendly glitch will eat up some time there. I'm saying is this one feels really good right now, and if I've missed something, if this is a 99% run, I'm just going to go cry myself to sleep as soon as I'm done. I'm just gonna go find a corner to cry in. I really am. Left, up, there's our last piece of heart. Do not use the stairs. It's not too bad, but it's a dumb way to lose some free time. Do not crash. Don't do that either. Don't do anything dumb here. Come on. Come on, Mike. Hit a screen warp. Come on. Blink. Buddy, thank you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Now these don't have to be so perfect. They can be a little bit sloppy. If I miss a couple of these by a couple of frames. It's gonna bring us to the Armo Shrine. We're gonna get the Dungeon 6 key here, and that is the last item I need. Notice I'm getting these keys. I'm not unlocking the dungeons though. I'm just getting the keys. If you actually get the key though. And if you save and quit before the text box, you don't always get the key. That sucks quite a bit when that happens. One more screen warp. Got it. Oh, come on. So there are a couple of quick kills here in this boss rush. Hold on, let me hit it. Yeah, and that quick kill is just what it looked like. If you time your spin slash correctly and then slash the blobbity blob again, you can just kind of wiggle your sword and deal damage to the boss. Now sometimes you won't deal all 3 hit points of damage to the boss, but depending on how long you're in there wiggling, it will deal 1 or 2 points of damage. So then you can grab the magic powder to deal the last, couple of points of damage. You don't have to hit it 3 times. For this phase, after the first 2 hits, there's a 50-50 chance he throws that mess at me, which you cannot reflect back at him. And then there's a quick kill on the next boss phase as well, assuming I ever get there. Don't do this to me, game. Don't do this to me. Thank you. I don't know if that's the right spot. No. I was too far left. I was too far left. That's alright. Whoa! Really? Really? I hate this game sometimes. Alright, so that's gonna leave Deathel. Just Deathel left. In order to kill Deathel, you have to wait for the eyeball to open and hit it with 16 arrows. If you run out of arrows, you can hit it with 16 bombs, but you have to time the bombs with the eye opening. Or you can hit it once with the boomerang. If you're doing a 100% run, obviously you'll have the boomerang. That's the best way to do it. If you're not on a 100% run, the boomerang takes too long to make it worthwhile though.